wouldn't be helped at all.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to all the regulars. Welcome to all the
Don't do regulars. I'm part of the regulars now.
irregulars. Okay. Kuf Beis Amid Aleph.
I know, but I listened to it. You realize why you listened to all the yesterday that I started yesterday?
Zog the Gemara, Kitanai.
Oh my God, you serious?
Vayichar af Hashem b'Moshe.
But you are up, okay.
There's a machlokes if Moshe was a Kohen. Hashem got upset at Moshe by the burning bush. Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha Omer. We're on the first wide line, now the second wide line on Kuf Beis Amid Aleph. Hurry up, doctor, we're almost done. Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha Omer. Kol charonav shebetorah nemar bar roshem, v'zel lo nemar bar roshem. Anytime it says charonaf in the Torah, it gives a consequence, an effect of the anger. And this one has no roshem attached to it. It just says that he got upset. But it doesn't say what happened next. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai Omer, Av zed nemar bar roshem. It does. Shenemar v'alo Aaron achicha halevi v'alo Kohen. Here it says Aaron is a Levi, but he was a Kohen. Hachi kamar ani amarti ata Kohen v'hu Levi. Originally the plan was that you should be a Kohen Moshe and he should be a Levi. Achshav, now that you're not listening to me at the burning bush and you keep pushing back on going to save the Jewish people, hu Kohen v'ata Levi. So there was some type of effect of the anger, in the sense that Moshe lost the potential to be the Kohen. The Chachamim argue and say Lo niskayin Moshe ela shiva simei miluim bilvad. Moshe Rabbeinu was never supposed to be the Kohen. Rather, it was the Shiva Simei Miluim that he was supposed to be Kohen, but he was never supposed to be the Kohen, so it's not that Hashem took it away from him at the burning bush. V'yeshom, and others say, Lo pasku kun el mizara shel Moshe. And others say, no, Moshe was supposed to be the Kohen, and Moshe was the Kohen, and it was only his sons who lost the kahunaship, but he in fact was a Kohen. Shneimar Moshe isholim banav yikru al shevet lalevi. His children will be Leviim and not Kohanim. But ve'omer, Moshe v'Aaron b'chohanav. Moshe and Aaron are Kohanim. Ushmuel b'korei shemo. So you see, Moshe is clearly a Kohen. My v'omer, why do you need two psukim? V'chitema ledoros hu dichsiv. Because if you say that when it talks about Moshe Isha Elohim, Banav Yikru et Shevet HaLevi, you said, well, Moshe was a Kohen and his children were Leviim. No, that just says his children were Leviim. It doesn't say what Moshe was. How do we know Moshe was a Kohen? Moshe v'Aaron b'choanav. That's what the last Manda Omer is going to say. Now the question is, you just said that anytime it says Vayicharaf or Charonaf, so it's followed by an effect. V'chol charonaf shebetorah nemar bar roshem. Is it true that anytime it says charonaf, there's a roshem, there's an effect? V'aksiv vayetze Moshe me'im paro b'chariaf. Moshe left Paro and he was very upset. V'lo amalei v'lo midi. It doesn't say that he did anything else. Amar Shalkish, no, you're missing a point. Sitro v'yatza. He slapped Paro in the face, and then he left. So there was an effect. There was something that came out of the anger. He slapped Paro. Umi amar Reish Lakish hachi. Did Reish Lakish really say this? V'aksiv. It says, V'nitzavta likrato al sefas hayor. It says that he stood to greet him. Moshe stood to greet Aaron by the river. V'amar Reish Lakish. I'm sorry? So he said, V'nitzavta likrato al sefas hayor. I said Paro, no?
No.
Moshe stood, hold on, let's check the tape. Moshe stood to greet Paro al Sfas Hayor. Tough crowd. I thought the 6 o'clock crowd was tough. Wow. V'amar Reish Lakish. You guys are a little bit more awake. Not much, but a little bit. V'amar Reish Lakish. Melachu v'hizbir lo panim. And Reish Lakish says that when he was standing up straight, it was standing lefi gadluso. That he was standing not to give him a hard time. He had to stand up for him. Literally, he was standing up because he was the melech. Even though he didn't like him, obviously, he stood up for him because he was the melech. So how could Reish Lakish say he slapped him across the face? You clearly see that Reish Lakish felt that you have to give respect to a king. Rabbi Yochanan amar rashahu v'heiz panecha bo. Rabbi Yochanan says v'nitzav likraso doesn't mean v'nitzav to likraso he stood up for him. It means he stood up to stand up against him l'milchama. But still, Reish Lakish seems to contradict himself. Says the Gemara, Epoch, you're right, opposite. Reish Lakish is the one that he stood up to fight against him, and therefore it makes sense that he's the one who said that Moshe slapped him across the face. Amar Rabbi Yanai, La'olam tehei emas malchus alecha. You should always be scared of the king. D'chsiv v'yardu kol avadecha eila elai, v'ilu l'didei lo ka'amar lei. Moshe told Paro, before Makas Bechoros, that all of Paro's servants after Makas Bechoros would come to Moshe and plead and beg that he let them leave, pleading that Moshe Rabbeinu would leave. But Moshe, when he tells Paro what's going to happen after Makas Bechoros, he never says, you're going to come to me and plead, because it wasn't correct. It wasn't proper for him to say, you're going to come plead and you're going to beg me that we should leave after Malchus Bechoros. All he said to him is that your servants are going to come and they're going to plead and they're going to beg us to leave. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Mehacha, that's one source. So you should have Emas Malchus and you should have respect for the king, even when it's Paro. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Mehacha v'yad Hashem Ha'isel Eliyahu v'yashneis masnav v'yaretz lifnei Achav. Another proof is that Achav, we know who was wicked, and yet he was traveling on it by himself in a chariot, and Eliyahu went ahead of the chariot in order to escort Achav, because even a wicked king should not be traveling alone. Amar Ula bikesh Moshe malchus v'lo nitnu lo. Ula says that Moshe asked for malchus and he wasn't given it. Dichsiv al takrev halom shal nalecha me'al raglecha, that by the burning bush. So it says al takrev halom. What does al takrev halom mean? Al takrev halom ve'ein halom ela malchus. So Hashem was punishing him and saying, you're not going to come. Literally, it means don't come close. But what it means deeper is, you're not going to come close to malchus. Shenemar mi anochi Hashem Elokim ki hivitani ad olam. This is talking about by David when he found out that his descendants would be kings. So you see again that halom is malchus, that you'll be malchus, and that your children will be malchus. And therefore Hashem said to Moshe, Al tikrav halom, you will not be malchus. Masiv Rava, Rabbi Shmuel, Omer, Yevama Melech. We said yesterday that Elisheva's Yevama, brother-in-law Moshe Rabbeinu, was a melech. How can you say that Hashem said to him, you will not be melech? Amar Rava, lo ulizaro kamar. No, Al tikrav halom means you'll be melech, but your children will not be melech. So halom doesn't mean that you'll be melech. Halom means the descendants will be melech. Says the Gemara, v'cholecha t'chsiv halom l'doros. Is it true that anytime it says halom, it means that your descendants will be malachim, that they'll be kings? Says the Gemara, v'agabe shol, but by gabe shol, t'chsiv hava halod halom ish, hu in zarolo. But by Shaul it also says the word halom, and we know that Shaul's children were not kings. Says the Gemara, two answers. You by saying hahava Ishboshes. No, there was Ishboshes who was king. Okay, not for a long time, for 2 years, but he was still king. So that was considered to be halom, that his generations would carry on the kingship. The by saying Shani Shaul da'afilu begavai lokaim. No, halom usually means that your descendants will carry on the kingship, but by Shaul it was different because he himself didn't even make it through his kingship. So obviously, for him, halom doesn't mean that your children will carry it on. Why did he not make it? When we assign greatness to a person, poskim lo lizarat sof kol adoros, so we give it to him and his children for all generations. Shenemar lo yigara mitzadik enav v'yes melachim likisei v'im higis daito. If he becomes hardy, HaKadosh Baruch Hu mashpilo, then he lowers him. Shenemar v'im asurim bezikim yilkadun b'chevle avoni. If they're bound in chains, then they will be caught up in being very being aniyim, being poor. Therefore, again, you see that as long as the father is doing well, the children are doing well, and if the father is not doing well, then the children will not do well either. Bali mumin bein bali mumin. What is this talking about? It says that bali mumin, whether they have a permanent mum or whether they have a passing mum, can get a share and eat the korbanos. Minani mili. Where do we see this? Detanu Rabbanan kol zachar lirabot bali mumin. Kol zachar includes bali mumin. Says the Gemara lemai ila chila harei kfar namar lechem elohav mikacheh kadashim yochel ela lechaluka. Now it's important to note that there are 3 times it says kol zachar. It says by a mincha. You want to guess? By a chatas and by an asham. He just walks in. He knows the Gemara cold. Mincha, chatas, and asham. It says kol zachar. So says the Gemara, when it says kol zachar, it includes a balmum. So what's it including a balmum for? It's including, again, we said that there could be 2 different things. There could be la'achila, where you can eat if somebody gives him a piece. And then an even higher level is the chaluka, where if it's his family mishmar, not only does he get to eat, but he actually gets a piece for himself. That he'll get a piece of the pie. So the Gemara says, how do you know that he can eat? So we said kol zachar by the mincha says that he's included. Well, what's he included for? Ila achila, if it means that a balmum can eat. We already know that a balmum can eat from another pasuk, not one of the 3 kol zachar. Lechem eloah mikacheh kadashim yochel. Rather, when it says kol zachar by the korban mincha, it means that a balmum is included in the chalukah. He gets a portion. Tani idach kol zachar by chatas lirabos bali mumin lemai ila achila harei kfar amor ila chalukah harei kfar amor. If for achila, we have the first pasuk, i.e. lechem elohav. If it's so that he can get a piece, we have the second pasuk, which is kol zachar by mincha. So what's the kol zachar by chatas for? Sheyachol ein li elatam v'nasa balmum balmum meikar minayin tam lamar kol zachar. What does this teach? You might have thought that it's only if a balmum becomes a balmum. But if he was born a Baal Mum, then he's on a lower level. Says the Gemara, no, even when he's born a Baal Mum, he's also going to have the same characteristics and the same privileges as a Baal Mum.
What's the difference between Chalukah and Achila?
So I just said, Achila means that somebody else gets a piece and gives you. Chalukah means you get your own piece.
Oh, you get your own piece.
You get a share, you get a portion. Chalukah means you get a portion. It means I might not get a portion in the mishmar. Let's say I'm part of the mishmar. If I'm not part of the mishmar, there's nothing to talk about. Usually the mishmar splits up the piece, right? They split up the animal. Each person gets a portion. If I'm not roy lechalukah, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm possible to eat. If you get a piece and I don't get a piece, you could still give me a piece of yours. I'm just not roy to get my own piece. So lechalukah is a higher level. Just because I'm roy leachila doesn't mean that I'm roy lechalukah. If I'm roy lechalukah, clearly I can eat it, seemingly, as we'll see, but maybe not. At the end of the day, those are two different things, whether you get your own piece or whether you don't get your piece, but you're still kosher to eat if somebody else gives you a portion of their piece. Okay? So now we have, again, the second kol zachar includes a Baal Mum who's born a Baal Mum. Tanida kol zachar by Asham l'ravas Baal Mum l'mai. Ila chila harei kfaram, or the first pasuk. V'ila chaluka, the pasuk by Mincha. Harei kfaram, or v'ila Baal Mum meikar, that he was born a Baal Mum. Harei kfaram, or that's the pasuk by Chatas. Sheyachol, so what's the pasuk by Asham teaching me? Ein li ela Baal Mum kavua, Baal Mum over minayin, tamalom kol zachar. I might have thought it's only if you have a permanent Baal Mum that you're allowed to eat. If you have a passing Baal Mum, then you're not allowed to eat. Kal v'chom, and therefore it tells me that you're allowed to eat even with a passing Baal Mum. What's wrong with that argument? It's the opposite. It's the opposite. You would have thought, what? What does the Gemara say again? Now, what do I need the third kol zachar for? Because you might have thought that everything we're talking about is only what? Is only a permanent Baal Mum. How do you know a passing Baal Mum can eat as well? Kol zachar includes. It should have been the opposite. It should have said everything until now has been a passing Baal Mum. That's a lower level. How do you know that even a guy that has a permanent Baal Mum can eat? Kol zachar. So Gemara says, first of all, you're right. Epach. Klape laya. What direction are you talking about? You seem to be confused. Rav Sheshes Epach, you're right. Really what it meant to say is, I know all these things are for what? Are for a passing Baal Mum. How do you know that even if you have a permanent Baal Mum, you can still eat and still get a chalukah? It says the additional kol zachar. The second answer, the second way of learning, Rav Ashi says, no, la'olam leitebach, no, because there's actually a chiddush by a passing Baal Mum, which doesn't apply to a temporary Baal Mum. A passing Baal Mum which doesn't apply to a permanent Baal Mum. That means, if anything, there's more to say that by a permanent Baal Mum you should be able to eat, and not by temporary. New, before we see what's the svara, smart person, new. What's the svara? Why by a temporary Baal Mum should you be able to eat? You can wait. They're all smart. He just spoke up first. You're smart and loud. Okay.
I'm a smart Alec.
You're a smart Alec. Rav Ashi amar la'olam lo tepuch. It's derech. Salkadai dechamina. Because what would I think? Kuf beis amebeis. Kitame matame kameh de lo tor lo achil af hainami kameh de lo matakin lo achil kamash malan. Means we already spoke about Baal Mum. So we spoke about Baal Mum. If he was born a Baal Mum, he became a Mum. But now we're talking about what type of Mum does he have. So for sure, when it says Baal Mum, it's either talking about a permanent Baal Mum or it's talking about a temporary Baal Mum. So which one of the two is more obvious? One should say, according to the first answer, temporary Baal Mum is the given. You need this final kol zachar to say all the things that we've said until now includes a permanent Baal Mum as well. The other way of saying is, no, all of this stuff was for a permanent Baal Mum. What do I need a chiddush for a temporary Baal Mum? Because you might have thought all of this stuff, Nebuch, the guy has a permanent Baal Mum, we're going to let him eat, we're going to let him get a piece because of all of these drushes that we made. But a temporary Baal Mum is not going to be included in this whole parsha, because at the end of the day, all he needs to do, like a Tame, is wait a little bit, wait a few days, wait until you no longer have the Mum, it's passing anyway, then you can do everything you need to do. It's only temporary. Kamash malan, but even by a temporary, kol zachar, the last lima tells me, even by a temporary, he has all of the rights that a Baal Mum has.
And there's something in the area of B2 with that same kind of a concept.
And what?
That if it's not, I'm just trying to remember.
It's okay.
If
In what
it's-
sense?
If it's a permanent issue, then it could be mavata. But if it's passing,
Right, that's right. That's a davar matirin, something that ultimately will be able to be fixed. So then it's not batal, and if it doesn't have matirin, then it will. Correct.
So it's the same idea.
Correct. Similar. I'm not sure. Kol she'ein arai. Okay, listen carefully to this. If it's not fit to perform the avoda, then he doesn't get a share in the korbanos. Kol she'ein arai, the person is not fit to perform the avoda, they don't get a share, chalukah, right? Or we'll see in a second. They're not fit to perform the avoda, they don't get something, either a share or they don't get the ability to eat. Says the Gemara below, is that true that they don't get a share? V'harei Baal Mum. You have a balmum who's lo roy lavoda, who's not fit to perform the avoda, and yet v'cholek. We just finished saying he gets a share and he gets to eat. So how can you say that if you're not fit to perform the avoda, you don't get a share? That's the first question. Visu, what can you imply from if you're not fit to do the avoda, you don't get a share? What does that imply? If you are fit to do the avoda, you do get a share. Visu, haroy lavoda cholek. That implies that if you're fit to do the avoda, you do get a share. But there's another problem with that. Because there's an example of somebody who's fit to do the avoda, hare tameh, a tameh person, bekorbanot sibor, diroy lavoda ve'eno cholek. And nevertheless, he doesn't get a share. So two questions on this idea. Says the Gemara, roy la'achila ka'amar. It's talking about roy la'achila. If you're not fit to perform the avoda, then you can't eat. Ay v'harei balmum de lo roy la'avoda. He can't eat. It's interesting because we just finished saying that a balmum can eat. Right? We just said that a balmum can eat. So I'm not really sure exactly what this is referring to. Right? It says, roy la'achila ka'amar. Well, how does that help us?
Whoever is not eligible to eat does not share in them.
But again, roy la'achila ka'amar.
Instead of saying not eligible to do the service.
Right. Oh, if you're not eligible to eat, then you have no share.
Right.
Aha. If you're not eligible, so it's not a matter of no share in the korbanos. It's not a matter of if you're not fit to perform the voda, you have no share in the korbanos. It's not that you have no eating. It's that if you're not eligible to eat, then you get no share in the korbanos. Roy la'achila ka'amar. If you're not eligible to eat, then you get no share in the korbanos. As opposed to if you're not eligible to perform the avoda. Thank you. So how does that help? Because we know that what? Harei balmum, who is eligible to eat, therefore it makes sense that he got a share. So the first question is not a question anymore. Because again, if we say if you're not eligible to perform the avoda, you don't get share in the korbanos, then a balmum is a problem. Because what? A balmum is not eligible to perform the avoda, and he gets a share. So it means if you're not eligible to eat, i.e. a balmum, right, if you're not eligible to eat, then you don't get a share. Well, a balmum is eligible to eat. Therefore, it's okay that he gets a share. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that a tameh who's roy la'avoda, we're not talking about the avoda. We're talking about eligible to eat. So therefore, the question from tameh is not a question either. But now we have a third problem, if you're going to learn that way. It's never pasha. Why? V'harei katan, because a katan who's roy la'achila, a katan who is eligible. Because now if you're saying that what? If you're not eligible to eat, then what? Then you get no share in the korbanos. What does that imply? If you are eligible to eat, then you get a share. Well, who's eligible to eat? A katan. Does he get a share? No. Very katan dirai lachila ve'eno cholek. Says the Gemara, halo ketani. So the Gemara answers, you can't put words into my mouth. That means what? You can't make an implication based on what I said. All that I said is, again, the way that we're learning now, if a person is not eligible to eat, they don't get a piece. That's all that I said. You can't come and say, okay, you imply, I don't imply anything. If you're not eligible to eat, you don't get a piece. Therefore what? A balmum's not a problem that he gets a piece because he's eligible to eat. So the fact that he's eligible to eat, so it's not a problem. You can't ask me again you can't ask me a question from Tamei Korbanos because he's not talking about eligible to eat or not. He's Roy Lavoda. That's not a question. He's not eligible to eat, so he doesn't get a piece. That's perfectly fine. Says the Gemara, you can't ask me from Katan either, because I wasn't talking about a katan. Your question is, a katan is roy la'achila, therefore you should get a piece. That's not what I'm talking about. I didn't say anybody who's roy la'achila. I'm talking people that are not roy la'achila. Anybody who's not, all I said is anybody who's not eligible to eat doesn't get a piece. And you haven't brought me any examples. There's nobody that you can bring me an example of who's not eligible to eat who gets a piece. No such thing. Therefore what I said is true. If you're not eligible to eat, you don't get a piece, you don't get a portion. That's all I said. What does the Gemara say? Again, Gemara, the beauty of Gemara, and the godless of the thought is, what's the Gemara going to do now? Hashta da'aslis lahachi. Now that you've come to this, so you can't make any implication. So now your original question is not in the question. I don't have to change my original statement. Because what was the whole reason that I changed it to say, if you're not eligible to eat, then you don't get a piece? Originally, how did I understand it? Originally, I understood the Mishnah saying, if you're not eligible to do the avoda, then you don't get a piece. Well, I had to change it because of your question. But what was your question based on? Hashta da'aslis lahachi la'olam k'dikamer me'ikara. What were the two questions? Look again. What did I say? If you're not fit to perform the avoda, then you don't get a piece. So he has two questions. But a balmum who's not fit to perform the avoda gets a piece. So what does the Gemara say to that? Skip down. V'imishum balmum rachmana rabbi. I have an answer to that. First of all, That's a mefurish pasuk. In general, the rule is if you're not fit to do the avoda, you don't get a piece. But the Torah goes out of its way to say that by a Baal Mum is an exception. Okay, and what was your second question? We said if I'm not fit to do the avoda, I don't get a piece. We said what? But a tamei who's fit to do the avoda and doesn't get a piece. But I'm not talking about being fit to do the avoda. I'm talking about somebody who's not fit to do the avoda. So you can't ask me a question. The whole question of a tamei was from an implication. Well, in the original part of the Gemara, you had no problem with making implications for me. But now that you've answered that you can't make any implications, even if you change it, because again, what happened? We changed the whole pshat to achila, and then we still had the question and said we can't make any implications. And the Gemara says, once you can't make implications, so now you don't have an original question on me either. Because again, if you can't make implications, so then all that I said is that if you're not fit to perform the avoda, you don't get a piece. You can't ask me a question from Tamei Korbanos, because over there it's talking about somebody who's fit to do the avoda and doesn't get a piece. I never talked about anybody who's fit to do the avoda. Therefore, the Gemara says you can learn it either way. You can either learn that it means somebody who's not fit to do the avoda doesn't get a piece, or somebody that's not fit to eat doesn't get a piece. Those two things will both work without any questions. Again, I wasn't talking about the implication. Fine. If you're tamei at the time of the zrika, even if you become tahor at the time of the hektar chalavim, you don't get a piece. What does that imply? That if it's the opposite, it sounds like the zrika is the main part. So if you're tahor for the zrika, and we see this the entire Masech, the first 100 blot, if you're tahor for the zrika, that's the main part. If you're tahor for the zrika, even if you're tamei for the hektar chalavim, for the burning of the fats later on, you'll still get a piece. Because the main part, as we keep saying, is the zrika. Masisa delo ka abashal. The mashal is not like abashal. Ditanya abashal omer leolam ein ochal shehitar mishas zrika shas hektar chalavim. Damar kra makriv es dam ashlamim v'es hachelev. This is obviously not like Abashal, because what does Abashal say? Abashal says not only do you have to be tahor for the hektar for the zrika of the dam, you have to be tahor for the hektar chalam as well. Boy Ravashi, and I'll tell you in a second. I have a problem with this question. But Boy Ravashi, nidma bein tayimahu. So of course, the Gemara always have star questions. So what did we say? We said that Abashal argues in our Mishnah and says again. Our Mishnah says if you're tahor for the throwing of the dam, it's enough. We don't care what happens at the time of the hektar chalavim. Abashal says, no, you need to be tahor for the hektar chalam as well. Says Rav Ashi, a lumdish question, what happens if you're tahor for both, but you became tamei in between? You can become tamei in between and go to the mikvah. So is it a din that you have to be tahor for both, or you have to be tahor throughout? That's the question. B'shas riko b'shas haktara ba'inan v'ha'ika, l'maisa, if we freeze at the time of the throwing of the dam, and we freeze at the time of the hektar chalavim, you're tahor, and therefore it's okay. Or dilma achi yitar mishas rika v'atshas hektar chalavim, you have to be tahor the entire time. Teku tishbi yitar kushas bias. What's my problem with this question? Is that when you read what Abashal says, it seems pretty obvious, but clearly the Gemara is not understanding it as I did. Abashal omer la'olam eino ochel. Seems pretty obvious to me that it's the second one that has to be throughout, but again, the Gemara seems to be... No, but Ravashi is not being cholek. Ravashi is interpreting Abashal. It's not a matter of ad v'ad b'chlal. It's not a matter of ad v'ad b'chlal, ad v'lo ad b'chlal. Everybody agrees, according to Abashal, you definitely have to be tahor at the time of the hektar chalavim. The question is, do you have to be tahor throughout, in between? It seems clear to me the way that he was talking, unless we're just quoting him and we're not sure what happened, but it seems pretty clear that if he got up in the base medrash and said, La'olam ein ochel achi hetar mishaz zerika shat heter chalavim, it seems pretty obvious that he's saying throughout.
I think it's lavdafka.
Yeah, it's...
Not lavdafka throughout. It means both.
What?
It means both.
Okay. So you're like Ravashi, fine. I argue on you too. Amarava. Not a problem. Amarava. We can still get along. Haidina Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon Gamirna. I have a din that I learned from Elazar Rabbi Shimon. Da'amar bebeis hakisei. I was sitting in the stall, he was sitting in the bathroom, and I overheard him talking Torah in the bathroom. When I came out, I said, listen to the vort that I just heard in the bathroom.
You can't talk to her in the bathroom.
What?
You can't talk to her in the bathroom.
We'll get to it. Danta. So the Gemara says, you can deliberate the following. You have a Tvul Yom. Tvul Yom is going to be able, he went to the mikveh, he's able to eat tonight, but he can't eat right now. So what's his argument? Poor Tvul Yom is hungry, he's looking for food everywhere. The poor guy in the winter, the poor, right, the poor squirrels in the winter, they're looking for food. But Tvul Yom V'amar. The Tvul Yom was a Kohen, comes and says to his fellow Kohen, Tein li mi mincha v'ochel. Again, This is going back Gershon. He doesn't get a piece. So he's basically asking for a portion. He's asking me to give me a piece and I'll eat it tonight. He doesn't get a piece. He's a Tful Yom, he doesn't get a piece. But he's saying, give me it sounds like he's not asking for a portion. He sounds like he's asking not that I deserve a chalukah, but give me a piece that I should be able to eat. Again, one can argue that maybe he's asking for a portion, but let's see. Rashi says, Tainli bechelek min ha-mincha shel Yisrael ve'ochel ha'erev. Again, I'm not clear if that means give me a piece that I deserve mitzad halacha, or just give me a piece that I'll be able to eat tonight. Maybe one can argue, give me a chalukah. It means I deserve to get a chalukah. So what's he going to say back to him? He says, give me from the mincha that a Yisrael brought, which you're getting now to eat, give me a piece. Give me my portion. Amar lo. So maybe let's say that he says, give me my portion and I'll eat it tonight, even though I can't eat it now. Amar lo. So what does the other Kohen say to him? Uma im b'makom sheyafe kochacha bechatascha dichisicha mechatas Yisrael. We know the halacha is that by chatas Yisrael, I, the Kohen, can push off a Tful Yom. Now, by chatas Yisrael, you, the Tful Yom, actually have Yafeh Kochacha. What's Yafeh Kochacha? Because we know in general, any Kohen, we consider the Chatas to be a strong korban for a Kohen. What does that mean? A Kohen who's not, it's not his mishmar, he's not part of his family time, he's not allowed to go and serve in the Avodah. But there's an exception to that rule. A Kohen who's not part of his mishmar can still bring a personal Chatas to the Beis HaMikdash. So we consider the Chatas to be Yafeh Kocha Eitzel a Kohen. It's something that is a super strength by a Kohen that even when it's not his turn, he could still bring a chatas. So I say back to you, the Tful Yom, in the case of a chatas where you have super strength like every other Kohen that you could bring a chatas even when it's not your turn, dichisicha mechatas Yisrael, nevertheless, since you're not currently eligible to offer it, we know that the halacha is that you don't get a piece of a chatas Yisrael who brings a chatas while you're Tful Yom. Malkom shahora kochacha b'minchascha. Now that you're coming to me by a korban mincha, and you want a piece of the mincha, where we know that your strength is not so strong by a mincha. Because what? By a mincha, what happens when you bring a mincha? We know that when a Kohen brings a mincha, it's totally burned on the mizbeach. So a mincha, which is not the super strong korban of a Kohen, now you're asking me for a piece, even by your strong korban, all of our strong korbans, but by the strong korban of a chatas, you don't get a piece. Clearly, by the weak korban of a mincha, you're not going to get a piece. Eino din shadichacha mi mincha is able to push you off. Well, the Tful Yom's hungry and he's smart because he could say back to him, "Well, one second, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If it's weak for me, it's weak for you. If it's strong for me, it's strong for you." Umayim dichitani mechat Yisrael. Look at it the other way. Look at it with a different pair of glasses. You were only able to push me off mechatas Yisrael. Shekeshem sheyafe kochi kach yafe kochacha. Not that. Right, you looked at it that I was strong by the chatas, and nevertheless you were able to push me off. Look at it the opposite. The only reason you were able to push me off was by the chatas. That just like the mincha is weaker, that it gets burned for me, it gets burned for you, and therefore maybe by a mincha you shouldn't have the koach to be able to deny me a share. Only by a chatas you should be able to deny me a share, not by a mincha. Says the Torah at the end of the day, so I, the Kohen, have to say to you, okay, you're right. Based on svara, maybe I have to give you a piece. But based on the pasuk, I don't have to give you anything. Hareyu Omer, the pasuk says, La Kohen hamakrivo sa lo siel lamed vav, not no, to him it should be, ba akre v'achol. Only a person who can offer it gets to get a piece. You, who's a Tful Yom, who can't offer it, does not get a piece. Yes?
Are we talking about, if you're talking about just being able to eat, then his request is, the guy can simply say no.
Right, so it sounds like he's asking for a chelak. That's what it sounds like. But anyway, he could still say no because the pasuk says only a person who's fit. Correct. So now the Tful Yom getting a little bit hungry because they didn't give him a piece of the chatas. So now he's going to say, or a piece of the mincha. Tainli, so now he comes and says, Tainli mechatas Yisrael v'ochel. Give me a piece of the chatas. Amar lei, uma b'makom shehora kochi b'minchasi dichisicha miminchas Yisrael. Well, now that I was able to push you off from the mincha, where I don't have such strength, I was able to still push you off. Makom sheyafe kochi b'chatasi. I'm strong by a chatas, because again, a Kohen can bring a chatas even when it's not his turn. Din shadichacha michatas Yisrael. I can push you off. What's his answer going to be? The Tful Yom. Amar lei, yeah. Umayim shedichitani b'minchas Yisrael shem shehora kochacha kachora kochi. The only reason you're able to push me off by a mincha is because my position was weak. Very nice, you're strong by the mincha, by the chata, so am I. I should be able to push back. Hareyu Omer, again, I have a pasuk to pull out of my back pocket. HaKohena mechatei ota yochlena b'chatei v'achol. Only the one who can be mechatei ota, only the one who can throw the blood gets a share. And you, the Tful Yom, who cannot throw the blood because you're a Tful Yom, will not get a share. Now the Tful Yom is getting really hungry. What?
What did it just add? Didn't we understand this relative strength and how it doesn't matter?
It's just saying that there's a pasuk by Echatas also, because otherwise, again, unless you can bring a pasuk by a mincha and a pasuk by Echatas and a pasuk by Shlamim, then at the end of the day, the Tful Yom has a taina.
Right.
Says your kal v'chomer is not any greater than my kal v'chomer, and therefore all things being equal, I should get a share. Says even though okay, okay. Amar lahen. So now the Tful Yom, Amar le, the Tful Yom, Tainli mechazei v'shok ve'ochel. What's that? The Shlamim. Give me a piece of the breast and the thigh. Amar le, b'makom sheyafe kochacha b'chatatz chadichiticha mechatas Yisrael, makom shara kochacha b'shlamim she'en lecha behen elachazei v'shok eno din shadichacha. If when you had a strength, i.e. by the chatas, I was able to push you off, because of the pasuk. So over here, where you don't have such a strength, because by you and by me and by all kohanim, all we get is a shok. All we get is the chazay and shok. Clearly, shlamim is on a lower level than chatas. If you don't get a piece of the chatas, man, you ain't getting a piece of the shlamim. No, maybe by chatas I couldn't get a piece because for a different reason. Because the chatas is not so strong for me. Because I can't go ahead and give the chatas to my wife and to my children, or to my wife, to my children, and to my avadim. Tadicheni mechazi v'shok shekin yafe kolchi eitzel nashi v'avadai. At the end of the day, the chazi and shok, I have more power. I'm allowed to share it with my family. Maybe then, since I'm allowed to share with my family, I'm allowed to go ahead and tell you have to give me a piece. Hareyu omer lekohen hazorek ez dam hashlamim lo yiyeh. No, it needs to be somebody who can be zrok, who can throw it. Only the regular Kohen can throw the dam. Therefore, only he gets the shlamim and not the Tful Yom. Yatza Tful Yom kola v'chamura v'arosho. He walks out, very nice imagery, he walks out with all of his kal v'chomers on his head, i.e. nothing to do with them. Onein mimino mechusar kapara mismalo. He has the onein on his right and the mechusar kapara on his left, and the poor three guys walk out hungry and starving because they can't get a piece of the food, because again, all of them can't do the avoda, so they don't get a share. Parech Ravachai. Ravachai says the Tful Yom on his way out of the Beis HaMikdash is a Talmud Chacham, and he realizes he has one more chance. What does he do? He's going to go to a Yisrael. Lei Malay, and he says to Yisrael, Tein li mi bechor ve'ochel. Give me part of your bechor, or give me your bechor, and I'll eat it tonight. So what happens? The other Kohen, it's not the Kohen's animal now, it's the Yisrael's animal. He can give it to whatever Kohen he wants. So he says, give me your Bechor. The other Kohen comes along to the Yisrael and says, no, he can't have it. It needs to come to me. Why? Amar lei, as he says to the Tful Yom, Mishum damar lei, uma b'makom shehore kochi bechatas eitel nashi v'avadai. Even when I had a lower koach by a chatas because I couldn't share with my wife and my avadim, dichiticha mechatas, I was able to push you off. Makom sheyafe kochi bebechor dekule dilehi, by a bechor where I can share with my whole family. It's even stronger in certain senses than a chatas. Eino din shadachacha mimenu. I should be able to go ahead and push him away. Says the Gemara, Mayim hadichichani mechatas. Yeah, but the Kohen who's a Tful Yom can say to him, yeah, you push me off from the chatas to shekshem shehore kochacha kachore kochi. Your side is not so strong, but my side is not so strong either. But by a bechor, I'm stronger. So obviously, what's he going to have to do if he wants to push him off? He needs to bring a pasuk. There's only one problem. Says the Gemara, Rehu Omer, et damam tizrok al hamizbeach, v'et chelvam taktir uvisaram yiyelecha. What do you notice here? That the dam gets thrown, the chelev gets burnt, and the basar is to you. Bazirok va'achol. The one who throws it gets to eat it. So the argument of the Kohen is the one who throws it gets to eat it. Now the Tful Yom's a smart guy, so what does he say back to him? 1 second. Read the pasuk. I'm starving. V'idach. So according to one man darmer, that's it. That's enough. He brings the pasuk, and that pasuk tells me, the regular Kohen, that I get to eat it. The idach, who doesn't bring this case, because again, the idach is not bringing this case as one of the three. Clearly, he holds that the Tful Yom does have a piece of the bechor. It's only this other opinion, Rav Achai, who says that the Tful Yom by Bechor should not have a piece based on the pasuk, but the guy who doesn't bring it, clearly didn't bring it because he felt that the Tful Yom does have a taina. So why would you have a taina in the Bechor? What's wrong with this pasuk? How can the Tful Yom push off this pasuk? Says Gemara, Parech, that the Bechor can say, Miksiv u'bisaram la kohen hazorek. By all the other ones, it says that the one who throws it, lo tiyeh. He gets it. The one who does this avoda, the one who throws the dam, the one who burns it, he gets the meat. It doesn't say that here. It doesn't say the one who does the avoda, he gets the meat. What does it say? It says lecha, that it should be yeh lecha, to you the kohen. It doesn't say ubisaram la kohen azoreg, ubisaram yeh lecha ksiv, afilu la kohen acher. It should be to you. Who's you? Not the one who threw it. You is the one who is a kohen, and therefore I, the Tvul Yom, even though I can't throw it, yeh lecha tells me that by the Bechor, Baruch Hashem, I have something to eat. Says the Gemara, "V'hechi avid hachi." Going back to Alan's question, so Lamaisa, how can they talk in the bathroom like this? V'amar Rabba Bar Bar Chana Amar B'Yochanan B'chol Makom Mutar Lahara Chutz Me'merchatz U'Mibeis HaKisei. You can't have any conversation about Torah except in a place. You can have conversation except in a merchatz Beis Kisei. La'on so shani. He's an ones when your whole life is Torah. And you can't stop talking Torah, and you can't stop thinking about Torah, so you consider it to be against your will, that you have no choice but to be able to talk Torah in the bathroom because you can't control yourself. Halavai, we should all be zilcha to such problems.
You should take a selfie.